but I don't see the Browns. But I don't see the Browns staying in this game unless the Ravens give them that glimmer of hope that they need. But this should be put away. And all across one winning drive, the Ravens were talking about finishing games. All week they were embarrassed. Welcome to a very new special episode of Al You Bugging. This is your host, Alan saying the place to be, y'all. Coming to you on a happy Ravens Monday after the victory. The Ravens won 41-17. They beat the Browns. Former quarterback Joe Flacco did not have a very special welcome back to M&T Bank. He was uncomfortable all night before he was eventually pulled. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let's chop it up. So, like I said, the Ravens beat the Browns 41-17. Shout out to the Browns' rush defense. They said Henry was easy to stop, and Derrick Henry was held in check. He did have 11 carries, and 23 yards is the lowest amount of yards he's got since he's been a Raven. So, congratulations. You done one part of the job, but Lamar Jackson threw for 4 TDs. Derrick Henry was so easy to stop that y'all had a 2-time MVP pick y'all apart for 4 touchdowns on a day where the offense kind of struggled moving the ball, especially early in the game before it got out of hand and they scored 40-something points. So I'm going to break down the actual scoring of the game, some of the drive summaries of the said game. I don't know why this thing is not pulled up. All right, so for the Browns, their leading passer, of course, was Joe Flacco. 25 for 45, 199 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. The rookie, Judkins, did start his first game. 10 carries for 61 yards. And then on the receiver front, Jerry Jeudy, who said the Ravens didn't pose much of a challenge in the secondary, was held to 4 catches to 51 yards. Rookie tight end, Fannin Jr. had 5 catches, 48 yards. And then Njoku had 4 catches for 40 yards. And then on the Ravens side, like I said, Lamar Jackson threw for 4 touchdowns, 19 for 29 completion, 225 yards. Derrick Henry, 11 carries, 23 yards. Zay Flowers, 7 catches, 75 yards. Nook, DeAndre Hopkins, 2 catches, 64 yards, and 1 TD. And then Tez Walker, 2 catches, 26 yards, and both of his catches went for touchdowns. So, despite the actual score, the game was a lot closer. Like I said, I want to give a hats off to the Browns defense. They were playing some good football. So Ravens started off the scoring in the first quarter with a field goal from Tyler Loop to make the game 3-0. And then a 15-yard pass from Lamar Jackson to Tylan Wallace to make the score 10-0. And then right before the halftime, the Browns drove down and got a field goal, which made they score 10-3 at the half. Ravens opened up the scoring in the second half, 13-3, with a field goal from Tyler Loop. And then Devontae Walker caught a quick out in the back of the end zone on 4th down. 2-yard pass from Lamar Jackson made the score 20-3. And then Joe Flacco threw an interception, but that interception turned into an 18-yard touchdown from Cedric Tillman to make the score 20-10. Started out the fourth quarter with a pretty pass from Lamar Jackson to Devontae Walker for 24 yards. Made the score 27-10. And then Roquan with a scoop and score, 63-yard fumble return, 34-10 at that point. And then DeAndre Hopkins got a touchdown from Lamar Jackson, 41-10. And Dylan Gabriel actually got in and got some work and threw his first touchdown. So shout out to Dylan Gabriel, 41-17. It was the final score. The Browns actually outgained the Ravens 322 yards to 242. Just didn't outscore the Ravens. The Browns are a very formidable team. I know this is, your victory Monday for the Ravens, and I'm going to talk about, the game ball for the Ravens, but that score is not indicative of what the actual game was. The Browns is fighting. The Browns is a very tough out, even though they're 0-2. The Ravens moved to 1-1. I think I like what they did defensively. Now, I opened up the show with a clip of what I said last Friday, which was the Ravens were focused coming into this game. The Ravens had a game plan, and, they wanted to feature Henry and run the ball and control the clock and, do Raven things. The Browns were formidable and had a plan on stopping Derrick Henry. Lamar Jackson didn't go too crazy on the ground either. Lamar Jackson only had 2 carries for 13 yards. One of those was an 11-yard scramble. So they pretty much had the run game in check. But thanks to Todd Monk and John Harbaugh, Lamar Jackson, second half adjustments came through, and the Ravens just decided to air the ball out a bit more, even though we started off airing the ball out, and Lamar was a little bit off with some of these throws. I say he responded very well, and that says a lot on his offense when you come in with a plan of running the ball and that's taken away, and then you try to hit Zay Flowers on a couple deep shots, and those don't go. And then, just to have the patience and poise to come back and hit Tylen for a touchdown, Tez for 2, Hopkins for 1. So, the Ravens went to their third receiver, to their fourth receiver, and their fifth receiver to get touchdowns. And that's just a credit to the Ravens offense on that adjustment and to the Ravens coaching staff on that adjustment. Another adjustment on the defense, Jaire Alexander, quote unquote, was a healthy scratch, but they pretty much focus on finishing drives. The one knock, and it's not that big of a play, didn't turn out to hurt the Ravens this time, but in close games, playoff games where they're trying to be, a decision like this could hurt your team. And that was that 18-yard pass touchdown from Joe Flacco was on a 4 for 2. And for some reason, Marlon broke on the ball. He saw the ball. He tried to intercept it, and his momentum was taking him towards the sideline. He'd have been out on the 3 if he'd have caught it. I don't see how. Now, I know he's an amazing athlete. He's a track star. I don't see how picking that ball off on the 3, he could have actually kept himself inbounds, 1, and actually made it back up there to the 18, where Joe Flacco threw the ball from. I mean, he pretty much would have lost 15 yards for his offense trying to intercept the ball instead of just knocking it down. Because, like I said, it was 4th and 2. Just got to clean certain things up like that. I think the offensive line didn't play a pretty good game, including in the run game, but that unit is working together. It's trying to get better. So if I had to give game balls to Ravens, first game ball that I'm giving out is going to go to Lamar Jackson. Like I said, 19 for 29, 25 yards, 4 touchdowns. Great second half adjustment, great leadership to keep the team calm when it was close, and to just continue to put the foot on the gas when they were up. Because not only do the Ravens go to prevent defense, they go to prevent offense sometimes when they're up. And it wasn't one of those days. They continued to go and put the foot on the gas. And like I said, the 2 F's for the Ravens, I think for the rest of the year, is going to be focus and finish. And Lamar Jackson helped the Ravens do both of those things. So shout out to Lamar Jackson, as always. Tez Walker. Tez Walker has 3 catches in his NFL career. He also has 3 touchdowns in his NFL career. Mr. Efficient. That man has been catching touchdowns. And like I said, it was a clutch 4th down touchdown where the Browns had actually stopped us last time in the red zone and held us to a field goal, or held the Ravens to a field goal when they got to the red zone on a deep pass to Hopkins before. And they were pretty much trying to do the same thing on this 4th down, but Tez Walker, with his speed out, caught the ball at the back of the end zone. And his speed capped the two score lead with his touchdown. So shout out to Tez Walker. I think he did a pretty good job. And then last game ball is going to go to Rowe. I think he had a throwback performance, man. He had 15 tackles, including the scoop and score, or what wasn't really him, but he had a scoop and score as well for like 60-something yards that he ran back. A lot of people were questioning what's going on with Rowe. Is he playing slow? Was he, doing whatever, A, B, and C, X, Y, Z? Rowe Smith is here to play. I don't think you ever have to worry about his conditioning and being a pro. That's what they used to call him, Pro Smith, because that man was always professional. But yeah, shout out to Rowe Smith. Nate Wiggins had an interception as well, man. Shout out to my man Nate. Somebody double check me on this one. Put the comments in the YouTube. I don't think Nate Wiggins has given up an NFL touchdown in the 1920, if you include the postseason. Well, 21 games, if you include the postseason. I don't think that man has given up a touchdown in his whole pro career. So shout out to Nate. Like, Nate's been doing his thing, and he got interception this season. I think he going for 3. That's my challenge to Nate, is 3 this year. He got the speed for it. We do run a lot of zone. Yeah, I think he can get 3. Before I get out of here, there are some notable injuries that happened. Don't know anything on this, so hopefully I'll have an update on Friday because the Ravens play on Monday. Hopefully I'll have an update on this, on these guys. But Marlon Humphrey exited with a groin injury, and Kyle Van Noy exited with a hamstring injury. Neither one of those players returned to the game. It's been reported that Kyle Van Noy could miss multiple weeks, but there was no update on Marlon at the time. So as I'm bringing you this on Monday night, there's no update on Marlon, but there has been reported that Kyle could miss multiple weeks. As far as John Harbaugh said in the media, that both of the players are week to week, whatever that's supposed to mean. But we'll see if Marlon is there, or if we have to bring in Jair back for the game against the Lions. So that is this bonus episode, and shout out to the Ravens 30th year, opening up the bank, or 30th year is the team in their Sunday victory as the season opener at the bank, to move to 1-1. Now you have the Bengals at 2-0, the Steelers at 1-1, the Ravens at 1-1, and the Browns are 0-2. So you're fighting, and they have everything in front of them to win this division for the third straight year. But for excellent performance, if they continue it up, like I said, the 2 F's: focus and finish. And that's my time for this evening, y'all. I am Alan C. Check me out on Instagram at Al_U, the letter U, _bugging, and then alubugging.substack.com.